you can't help miss that Joan left, huh? That was a shocker. But what I've loved about it is that the tributes have all been kind of, and she said she wanted a red carpet. They're having I'm going to watch the news tonight. That funeral will be great. They have a red carpet, the whole deal. Comedians. She said I want. She said I don't want a rabbi up there just droning on and on. I want to see Meryl Streep sobbing in 5 different languages. She has such good humor. Maybe you have your own favorite lines. My favorite lines I really can't read here, but one that's true in my life is you make the beds, you wash the dishes, then 6 months later you have to start all over again. And those of you, some of you have been to my house, you know that's the truth. She said, I'm Jewish. I don't work out. If God had wanted us to bend over, he would have put diamonds on the floor. And so and one I used to subscribe to, the first time I see a jogger smiling, I'll consider it. Isn't that true? Every night when we go to bed, my husband dresses me with his eyes. Not undresses me, dresses me. It's been so long it's been so long since I had sex, I forget who gets tied up. She had some great lines. So, okay, now for the non-Joan humor that I had planned before I knew her passing. One beautiful Sunday morning, a minister announced his congregation, my good people, I have here in my hands 3 sermons. I have a $1,000 sermon that lasts 5 minutes. I have a $500 sermon that lasts 15 minutes. And a $100 sermon that lasts a full hour. Now we'll take up the collection and see which one I deliver. Can we talk? Can we talk about money? For you newcomers, we don't talk about money except 2 or 3 times a year. You happen to stumble in here on that day. So it's a conversation that is necessarily hits most of us right in the face. Because that's where money is. It's like we're right up against it, most of us. And so get as much out of it as you can. Some people will go, yes, that's my practice. I get it. That's how I live. Yes. Some will go, I'm not so sure. That's how I was most of the time I heard these conversations about the law of giving and receiving and the law of tithing and the law of generosity. I would go, I don't know about this. And others will just want to go the other way. Hang in there and just keep breathing. Good time for mindfulness meditation. If you feel like this is in your face, just that mindfulness meditation and just be open. Just be open. Maybe there's something here for you. I'm glad I hung out with this conversation for the 3 or 4 years that I resisted it. I want you to experience, first of all, that we did a mitzvah this week, a kindness born of compassion. There was a pastor of a local fundamentalist church here in Ferndale who had in the flood, he lost his van. His van was ruined in the flood, and the young man has got 4 children and didn't have a car. And so on Facebook they were raising money, and they wanted to raise like $4,000 to buy the young man and his family a new van. And so Spiritual Life Center, we gave $100 of our money to that. So I want you to experience that. Since that was our community money, I want you to experience that you gave and helped him out. And I also want to share that then because we're raising money ourselves for a new backdrop that we'll need to have. As you can see, we only have part of it. We need to raise about $1,000. We received a check for $150 from a minister out in Omaha who heard about the flood and wanted to help us out. So I want you to experience that too, the giving part of that, giving and receiving. But you might wonder why, if we're trying to raise money for ourselves, why are we helping out another church? Why are we helping out a fundamentalist preacher We don't subscribe to, many people don't subscribe to what they teach. And why are we helping them? Why are we giving to them? Why in the world would we give money away when we're trying to increase our own money? We need to accumulate money, John, not give it away. It doesn't make any sense, does it? We're trying to save our money so we can buy a new backdrop. We're trying to save our money so we can, pay our salaries and so we can pay the rent here. And you're giving it away to a very successful church across town. It doesn't make any sense. It has to do with something called the law of generosity. Law of generosity, which is the more you give, the more you will receive to give away. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, because today's conversation is about transformation, but transformation of our lives. It's a very powerful conversation that we're going to have today. Transformation, you see, the opportunity for transformation, it's like it takes you out to your limits. It walks you right out to your limits, right out to the edge of the cliff. And then it says jump. And if you jump, you fly. If you don't jump, you don't. It's a choice. You can stay in that chrysalis like the caterpillar. It's fine. You have a choice. You and I have a choice. The butterfly doesn't. But you and I have a choice. We could just stay in the cocoon. It's fine. It'll be fine. And we'll just live like a caterpillar. Or we'll live however we live our lives. Or you can go to the edge of that cliff and jump. How many ever, the image of a high dive comes to mind. Anybody ever jumped off the high dive as a kid? And so, did you have the experience like I did of walking out to the edge and going, oh, God? Now, I actually walked back numerous times, as I remember as an 11-year-old child at the Lake Worth Beach casino pool. I would walk out, go, and walk back. And then walk back, walk back. One time I even walked down the steps. But the time I walked out to the edge and just jumped, whoa, that was a rush. That was fun, wasn't it? For those of you who've done it, wasn't that fun? Yeah, it's like I didn't die. Oh, wow, I didn't die. It didn't kill me or anything. It was fun. I'm going to go back up and do it right now. The first one you see my little daughter Tamsin, when the first time she went out to the edge of a diving board. She said, jump, honey, and then she went back just 5-6 times, just like that. And finally, when she jumped in, well, now you can't keep her off the diving board. She became a new person. She became a more skilled person, became a person with a certain amount of courage that she didn't, and a certain amount of wisdom and experience that she didn't have before. That's okay to jump. It's okay to jump. And that's what transformation is really about, and that's the conversation we're having today. It's about taking yourself to a higher vibrational frequency regarding money. And that's one that's in our heads. And I want to look at the law of generosity, which says, the more you give, the more you will receive to give away. What happens, you see, is that the universe trusts you with its energy to bless its beloveds. You become a channel of abundance. Rather than somebody who has to make a living to pay the bills and then give a few bucks here or there once in a while to the charities or church or synagogue or temple or whatever else, you become a channel of abundance. It's a matter of self-definition, and it's really a matter of transformation. You transform into that butterfly. You become that channel of abundance. Life is much simpler now once I got this. Once I began to live this. It's a heady, peaceful, relaxed feeling with money and abundance once you become a channel of abundance. That the universe is, now that I am generous with, the more that we get generous with what we're given, the more it seems to flow through. It's pretty amazing. The law of giving and receiving. How many have heard of the law of giving and receiving? It's very similar to the law of generosity. As you give, so shall you receive. It goes back thousands of years. The mystics of the ancient, who wrote the ancient Hebrew scripture, who taught the ancient Hebrews, talked about it. In Luke 6:38, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. That's both good news and bad news, by the way. That last sentence. Look at that one very carefully. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. If you're a skinflint, skinflints enjoy life one way. Generous people enjoy lives a different way. I've been both, by the way. And I really prefer the life of the generous person over the life I had when I was a skinflint, when I was afraid to give, when I held on to every dollar. When I became a giver, something happened. It began to flow through me much easier. And it really goes back to these ancient teachings. It's really simply, we teach here for you new folks, so we teach the law of attraction here quite often. The law of attraction, which is that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, as the great Unity author Martha Judici called it, or called what is called there the law of mind action. Same thing as the law of attraction. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. We attract according to our vibrational frequency, and our vibrational frequency is made up of our attitude, our thoughts, and the feelings that are generated by them. The predominant feelings in our lives, that vibrational frequency, and just so I like to use this metaphor or imagery of vibrational frequency. If you're like, what is he talking about? Vibrational frequency is really simply, have you ever been depressed? Been depressed? You know how that feels? Can't even lift your head up. Well, that's one vibrational frequency. And then were you ever getting ready for a great party? You couldn't wait to get to the party. It would be a great party. Or you had a great date coming to pick you up, or you were to go pick her up or him up or whatever. And excited? Yay! Wow! How wonderful! Remember how that feels? That's a different vibrational frequency. So that's what we're talking about. That we attract according to our vibrational frequency. How do you feel when the subject of money comes up in church or your synagogue or temple or in a spiritual center like this one? How do you feel? What's the first feeling you have? I know for me it used to be wariness. Oh God, I must need money. I'm going to pull one over on me now. Oh God, money. Oh, when I was doing this, be over. Like that annoyance, fear about money. It comes from something called the scarcity consciousness, which dates back to our caveman days. But I bet that you don't feel any better when you write your monthly bills than you do when the subject comes up at synagogue or temple or church. I bet you don't feel any better. Oh, good, a bill came in. Oh, wonderful. You don't go from, oh, God, they're going to talk about money, to, oh, yeah, I get to pay a bill. Or in your relationship, when he comes in and says, I want to buy some new fishing gear. How does that make you feel? Hey, let's buy a new boat. How does that feel? Go, oh, yeah, let's spend a couple $1,000 on a new boat. What a great idea. You know, I bet that doesn't just jump to, that's the vibrational frequency attendant to money. That's why it's important. That's why it's blockbuster for us. That's why it's transformative to talk about it here today. And I just thank you very much for your bigness in allowing me to, no one's left yet. It's amazing. I thank you for your bigness and your openness to have the conversation about this transformational conversation regarding money, because we want to raise our vibrational frequency. Because can you name very many areas of your life that don't involve money? Okay, my meditation. I don't think it involves money, except I bought a chair for that. Oh, relationships. In relationships, money is the number one cause of divorce. You know that? Money is the biggest cause, is the cause of most problems. Yeah, in virtually every area of life, money is an impact. And so, since those areas come up over and over and over and over and over again, Would it be wise to raise your vibrational frequency in the area of money from fear and loathing and upset into, okay, at least up to, okay. Maybe it won't get to, oh, good, another opportunity to spend money. Maybe it won't get there, but it could. I have been in that situation. But most often for me, it's like, okay, the bill comes in. Thank you, God, for the money. I write a check and bless those people. Want to give some more money? Sure, I give some more money because I know that I'm a channel of God's abundance. So we can get to that point of equanimity with it and peacefulness and generosity. And then it's not such an issue in our daily lives. Not such an issue then when we raise our vibrational frequency. And that's why we suggest at Spiritual Life Center in Ferndale, that's why we suggest and recommend spiritual exercises to raise your vibrational frequency. What are some of the ways that you know of to improve your vibrational frequency when money comes up? Anybody do anything? You say I'm grateful that I have what I have. Good. Thank you. Somebody, yes, Deborah? Yes? On your check, you actually write joy to you. Yes. Oh, it's printed. Well, that's a good idea. Actually have it printed on the check. Yeah, that's a good idea. Good, that's excellent. I often will write, like, thank you, God, exclamation point. Or sometimes if it's to DTE or whatever, thank you for your services, exclamation point. Some expression of gratitude. Some positive affirmation is a good thing. A positive affirmation, yes, Stephanie. I'm grateful I have insurance. I'm grateful I have cable. Yes. It's good practice. You can actually turn your bill paying into ritual. You can turn your bill payer into sacrament. You can make it a holy experience. I know of people who light a little candle, and they do make it into a ritual where you write a check and say, thank you, God bless these people who are in the office at DTE or the electric company or the gas company. Bless them. Thank you so much for them. I know I often will bless the people at Arbor Springs who provide my water. And I can picture the office there, and I know the people who work there and who drive the trucks, and I bless them. Thank you very much. It's very important. Some of the other things I've seen done and that we talk about from time to time is, I think some of you are talking about that, prepare your vibrational frequency before you write the check. Like take a minute and just pause before you write the check. And do that affirmation, do that thankfulness, do that exercise of blessing those people before you write the checks. Creative visualization is another way to increase your vibrational frequency. Creating a vision board. How many know what a vision board is? Where you actually take, several people had a visioning recently in a basement. And I was blessed to be invited in. We created vision boards with magazine pictures of how you want the rest of your life to look, and then to be looking at that vision board every day as a reminder. And it works very subtly as a law of attraction tool. Creative visualization boards are excellent. Here's a good one. Imagine having a large sum of money in the bank. What would be a large sum of money to you? $1,000, $10,000, $100,000? Keep going. Take it as high as you want it. Take it as high as you want it. How would it make you feel? Now, I want you to think a second. How would it make you feel if you got that money? You go to the mailbox. You open it up, in an envelope, and there's that check. How would you feel? How would you feel? How would you feel? No answer. Feel great. How would you? What's an emotion? How would you feel? Elated. How? Free. Scared? You'd feel scared with all that money? Just call me up if it happens. We'll work on that. Maybe personal attention. Well, just imagine if it was a check that no strings attached. For the purpose of this demonstration, no strings attached, just out of the blue, Ed McMahon knocks at your door. God bless him. Huh? Yeah. So how did it feel then? So now, how did it feel then? Safe. You felt safe, secure. You had ease, you had elation. Okay, if that's the case, then you know what Abraham says to do? Feel that way right now. Feel that way right now. Feel how you would feel if that big check came in. Close your eyes. Take a second right now. And there's that check. Take a look at that check. Now, feel that way right now. You can let go of the picture of the check and open your eyes. And just feel that way now. And if you are, that is the vibrational frequency of abundance that you just went to. You can make it up any time. Getting the vibrational frequency of abundance. Just imagine how it would feel if you had all the money that you needed and then feel that way. You create that. First comes the feeling or the vibrational frequency, then comes the demonstration, then comes the money. So, and something else we could do, we talked about this last week, and I invited you to try be generous with your tipping. Be generous with your tipping. Did anybody try that? Have an experience of that? How'd it go? How'd it feel? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Nice. And how'd that make you feel? Yeah. Excellent. Who else? Who else had an experience with tipping this week? Yes, Kristen?
Well, I did a restaurant that I go to, Malaysia, that I left there like 3 times around. I gave $10 instead of 3.
Yeah.
So that was good. And somebody gave me the hair salon that just
Did they? Good for you. Love giving and receiving. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had that experience a couple weeks ago with a friend at lunch, as we talked about. And I said, oh no, let me get the tip because I want to give something extraordinary. Why? Because I wanted to experience it. And to this day, I'm not missing that money at all. I'm walking a little taller in the vibrational frequency department. Be generous with your be generous in your, I'm not going to take a show of, yes, Joel? No, we have to read through some material. Go ahead. Yes.
So I did that last month, and it was an awesome experience. It was interesting because I found everybody was wondering how to spend thousands of dollars on.
That's once again, consult with me when that happens. Yeah.
And you have to spend it on something new every single day.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is you're putting a place for that money to go. So vibrationally, it has somewhere to go, so you will then, the more you focus on
Yeah.
it, get what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
To travel into those areas of your life. And it was really cool.
That is an excellent thing. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It is a great process. Another one, you know, those of us who go to 12-step meetings, kind of the ritual is you put $1 in the basket. Try putting 2. If you put 2 in, put 5 in. If you put 10 in, and see how that feels. Put a 20 in. Why $1? Just because that's the ritual. Oh, but my group doesn't need it. Well, what they need has got nothing to do with you and your vibrational frequency. You're not giving to need, you're giving out of a sense of generosity, out of the desire for the law of giving and receiving to work in your life. You're giving out a sense of the law of generosity. Our vibrational frequency around money is one huge reason that we teach and practice the law of giving and receiving every Sunday here. Because giving in a consistent manner every week, or at least a few times a month, keeps us in the conversation of lifting our vibrational frequency. Give us the opportunity to experience that. Generosity, according to Khalil Gibran, the author of The Prophet, is giving more than you can afford to give. It's giving more than you can. What? Yes, it walks you out to your limits, and it says jump. And if you give more than you can, then the universe goes, oh, you must be wealthier than we thought. Here's some more money. I know that. I remember the first time I learned this lesson in 1984. I was introduced to this at Unity of the Palm Beaches, and Hal Rosencrantz was talking about giving 10% of your income in a tithe to where you're spiritually fed. And my eyes were like, what? 10% of my income? Is that possible? But he talked about the law of giving and receiving. As you give, so will you receive. And so I had at that time, I was fresh out of a rehab. I had maybe $78 to my name and no idea how I would make the mortgage next month. And I wrote a check for about half, what I thought at the time was half of the 78. I wrote a check for like 40. So that's half. That's how my mind was functioning back in those days. The mathematics was a little off. But I wrote a check for $40. And later that week, I got a check for over $2,000 in the mail that I hadn't expected. Oh, just coincidence, you might say. I don't know. That's happened too often in my life, where I give and then somehow I receive. I did not expect that $2,000. I expected it about a year and a half from then. It came out of nowhere. Suddenly, for some reason, somebody who was going to send me money anyways at some point in the next few years decided that week to send it. Where'd that idea come from? This world is a mystical world we live in. It's a mystical place we live in. And so, how are we doing on time? Okay. I want to tell you a story about Tall Paul, but I won't have time for that. It's a great, I'll tell you that another time. I do want to talk a little bit, though, about that we have a group of people at Spiritual Life Center who do this thing called tithing. And it's so powerful. Oh, this is so good. Think about the law this way. The more you give, the more you will receive to give away. When you give, you become a conductor for all the good that is meant to be shared with others. When you hold on to what's yours, you become a resistor. This is in the field of electronics. When you hold on to what's yours, you become a resistor with limited power and energy to make a difference. Like an electrical current, the more we give, the more the current of good moves through us, and the more powerful we become. True power comes from giving, not accumulating. That's hard to get. That last statement, if you just got nothing else but that, and practice that in all your affairs, that would knock the socks off all your restrictions that you have placed upon you and money. True power comes from giving. Giving energy at work. Not just with regarding money, giving energy at work. Giving love to your beloved. Giving attention. Turning off the TV maybe and actually, look her in the eyes and talk to her, like she would love you, or him. Just be with him, and give generously of yourself and your time, your talent, your treasure. Okay, then there's this law of Malachi 3:10 I want to just touch on briefly, because this is mystical power going back to about 3,500 years ago. It said that this might have been written by Moses, but certainly written by the prophet Malachi. Bring the whole tithe, which is 10% of your income. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. And people ask, was that 10% net of your net income or your gross income? Either way, in my estimation. Some here will say, no, it's your 10% of your gross income. I say you can't. I asked Hal Rosencrantz that one time, and he said, you can't outgive God. So don't worry about it. One or the other. 10% of your net or 10% of your gross. Either way, you cannot and I've tried it. I've tried to outgive God. I invite you to try it. Can't be done. But this is truly a mystical power, which I heard the message of Malachi 3:10 for 3 or 4 years before I jumped. If this is your first time and it scares the bejesus out of you, you might dip your toe in the water and see how it feels, or you might just jump.